What's going on, everyone? This is Vance Apollo and I am back with another movie review. Now, I know I haven't done a movie review since I think Kingsman Golden Circle, but I still enjoyed doing it and I still want to keep on doing it. So here is another movie review, I guess. And the movie I will be reviewing today is Marvel's Black Panther. Personally, for me, I have been waiting so long for this movie to come out. I don't know how long I've been waiting, honestly. I think when Black Panther made its first appearance in Captain America Civil War, and even probably before that, when they announced they were going to have him in Captain America Civil War, I was waiting for this movie. Now, mind you, before I go into this movie review, it is going to be heavily spoiled, so if you haven't seen the movie, then you might as well shut off now and then come back to this video. So a quick synopsis of this movie: after the events of Captain America Civil War, where T'Challa's father T'Chaka, the original Black Panther, died in a UN bomb explosion, T'Challa comes back home to be crowned the new king of the what is known on the outside world, the third world country of Wakanda, which is actually a isolated technological dream space for the African nation. After T'Challa is crowned King of Wakanda and given the title of the Black Panther, he is informed that Ulysses Claw is about to sell a piece of vibranium that was stolen from a museum in London, I think. In London, yeah. So basically, without getting too spoilerly into the synopsis of this movie, they go on a mission to find Ulysses, try to track him down, try to capture him, and try to bring him back to Wakanda to face trial for stealing vibranium and killing a lot of Wakandan people. Marvel's Black Panther was directed by Ryan Coogler and stars Chadwick Boseman, Lupita Nyong'o, and Michael B. Jordan. Now, before I go into the pros and the cons of this movie, I'm just going to say right off the bat, I absolutely love this movie. This is by far the best movie of 2018, and I actually don't hate to say it. This is the best Marvel movie I have seen to date. But with all that out of the way, I'm going to start with the pros of this movie. The first pro being that it truly romanticized Africa and African culture. From the clothing the people wore on the streets of Wakanda, to the score by Ludwig, to just literally everything they did to show Africa was just beautiful. Like, it truly romanticized the nation and country of Africa, and I absolutely loved it. It makes me want to give big props to the people behind this movie, from the director of photography to the costume designer, to the makeup people, to just everyone who was involved with this movie. Truly made it a special Africa culture type movie. The second pro of this movie is that the cast was absolutely perfect. It makes me wish that the Oscars had a separate Oscar award for casting directors, because the people who cast these type of movies need to cast them almost right, and they do it every single time, especially for like Marvel movies. But whoever the casting director for this movie was hit it out of the park. I know Ryan Coogler really wanted some people. Like, I think he asked for Michael B. Jordan and Denai Guerrero, but other than that, I can't say her name for the life of me, but Letitia Wright, if I'm not butchering her name, was perfect as Sheree. Lupita Nyong'o was perfect as Nakia, and everybody just was perfect in their roles. The third pro of this movie was that the women guards and Nakia and Sheree were just all straight badasses. During the third half of the movie, and again, spoilers, but during the third half of the movie, when Michael B. Jordan is crowned King of Wakanda and the Black Panther, they gather around him, not in like a celebratory fashion, but what they do is the women first of all, they're women guards. Let's just get that out of the way. It's women guards protecting the King of Wakanda. It's not just regular old guards, it's women guards, and these women guards are absolutely badass, led by Denai Guerrero as forgot her name, but led by Denai Guerrero as the head guard. These women were absolutely badass, and in the third act of the movie, when Michael B. Jordan was crowned the Black Panther and King of Wakanda for like a little bit, and when Chadwick Boseman's character, when T'Challa came back, and Michael B. Jordan's Eric Killmonger, why did I forget that? But Eric Killmonger was crowned King of Wakanda, and T'Challa came back because they did a fight, but he wasn't really dead, and he wasn't really killed off, because that's what the challenge is about. But you would have to go see the movie to understand that part, because I'm not going to go into it too deep here. They like it kind of went into an all-out brawl and all-out, like, not war, but all-out brawl, and these guards were going against the new king of Wakanda, and they just did some stuff that, like, was so just super. And Sheree was a technological scientist genius who had the vibranium of just the stored vibranium that was just in that nation of Wakanda, and there was thousands of it. That was just, and she made so many things. Like, she made a whole remote car that she drove. It, like, oh my god, I don't know how to say that, but like, if you were like a super genius and you would aspire to do something like this, like, this is what like science people aspire to do, and I'm glad they put a black woman to aspire to do something like that. Let's not forget Lupita Nyong'o as Nakiri in this movie, being a spy and just being another badass woman. I want to compare this to the Themyscirians in the Wonder Woman movie, and when the guards of the Wakanda king were there, I just kind of, in my head, was just like, who would win in a fight between the Themyscirian Amazonian warriors and the Wakanda king guards? And I'm just like, the king guards would win every time. I mean, personally, to me, they would win every time, because even though, yes, the Themyscirian goddesses and guards and warriors did have some cool stunt moves, the women, the women Wakanda guards were just better. They just were better. Like, they had all their crap figured together. They had all their crap together. They had everything just, like, down to a solid T. The fourth pro of this movie that I honestly really loved is that it dissected and showed the differences between African and African American. In this movie, Chadwick Boseman played the role of T'Challa, an African, and Michael B. Jordan played the role of Eric Killmonger, an African American. And in the scene where those two finally meet, you could see how much different and a cultural change these two were from each other. An African American to an African. Like, it was crazy, because Eric Killmonger grew up in Oakland and T'Challa grew up in the beautiful city of Wakanda, and their thoughts were so different, and everything was just so different from each other, but they all had the same kind of goal at the end. But it was just, I praise Ryan Coogler for really going not diving deep into that, but just what's the word, just like bringing that up, and how culturally different African and African American truly really is. The last pro is that this movie had one of the best Marvel villains to date. Michael B. Jordan's Eric Killmonger played a fantastic villain, and it really did compete with Loki. It didn't almost compete with Loki. It really competed with Tom Hiddleston's Loki for the best Marvel movie villain, because if you don't know, Marvel has a really big track record of having these great movies and not the best movie villains. Like, if it's a superhero movie, there's a great superhero but not a great villain. Like, who remembers the Iron Man villains? There was only like one or two, and Mickey Rourke played one of them, and like Ben Kingsley played another one, and it was still bad. And then in Captain America, the Red Skull wasn't that great, and the only great other one was Bucky, but he was kind of, now he's on the side of good, so you don't really call him a villain. But what I'm trying to say is that the villains in the Marvel universe aren't really the greatest, and they either die off or just not matter anymore. But it's becoming more of a trend now. But I mean, the movie villains in Marvel are now getting better and better, and I'm starting to like these villains. And it's just, this villain, Eric Killmonger, was probably one of the best ones. It's probably like 1A, 1B Loki, Eric Killmonger, and then the rest 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now on to the cons of this movie. And to be completely honest, I don't have too many cons. I mean, maybe one part that I honestly didn't know, but honestly, it's not really a con to me. And the only con was that I thought Ulysses Claw was going to be in it longer. Ulysses Claw, played by Andy Serkis, who did appear in other Marvel movies like Avengers: Age of Ultron. This was his like main debut into Marvel villainy the universe, and I thought, and I knew he was partnering with Eric Killmonger, but I didn't know he was going to be in it for so short. I mean, Andy Serkis is a great actor, and I guess I'm not really complaining because the way they did it, it makes sense. But I mean, to me, I was just like, I thought he was going to be in it just like a little longer. Like, how they did it was they were going to go on a plane to wherever they stole the vibranium from and go back to wherever. And it was going to be Eric Killmonger, his girlfriend, and Ulysses Claw. Turns out that did not happen as they were about to get on this plane. Eric Killmonger kills the pilot, and he's about to kill Ulysses Claw so he could bring him to Wakanda because he knows that Ulysses Claw is wanted, and he would know that if he brought Ulysses Claw dead to Wakanda, they wouldn't necessarily praise him, but they would let him in because he hasn't been to Wakanda in like forever, but he is a Wakanda brethren. But with all that said, and like I said in the beginning of this video, I absolutely love this movie. I gave it a 10 out of 10, and as of right now, it is the best movie of 2018. And that's probably because the movies in the beginning of the year aren't always the greatest, but like I've seen some real bad movies so far, and so there wasn't really too much competition. But this is the best movie of 2018 so far. But those are my thoughts on the Black Panther movie, but I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you want to watch my last video, then click right here. If you want to subscribe to my channel, then click right here. And if you want to watch my last movie review, then click right around here, down at the bottom. I don't know where yet. Also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it is @TheVanceWallace. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.